Hello, fellow diggers. Hey, it's Penny Digger again. Wanted to address a couple of little things. It's easier to do it in a video than to try and... I have one of my viewers, one of my subs up in Connecticut, and I think he's a teenager, which is fine. I don't have any problem with youngsters watching my channel or watching anybody else's channel. That's how we learn. But he wanted to know why I always film out my window. Well, I'm not really filming out my window. I'm filming my little solar powered characters up here. My flower, my snowman, my butterfly, and my penguin. Had a couple guys teasing me, said that watching those things had them hypnotized. But anyway, we've been rained in for a couple of days, and I had to get out and do a little bit of something. I just got out in my yard, and I only found a couple of pennies, but at least I kept from being skunked. And I got one of them in here, and the electrolysis being fixed now, and the other one sitting there on the edge of the sink waiting its turn. Also, Treasure Jack said it looks like I've got me some new alligator clips with rubber ends on them that he thought it had to be touching metal. These are the same clips I put on when I originally built the machine. It's just got the red insulator on one part of the handle that attaches to the spoon. Let me know that's a positive. And the one down there in the water's got a little black insulator on one half of the handle, but that's straight metal from the wire down to the coin where it's touching the coin. And that is straight metal from the wire here down here to where it's touching the fork, or the knife rather, the stainless that's going in there. So it's metal to metal, and then it runs over here and plugs into the wall, and has 120 volts in, 12 volt DC out. That's all you need. That and some iodized salt and a little bit of baking soda at the end, a little final polishing step. All that baking soda does, guys, it's a mild abrasive. The electricity, the DC current running through there kind of breaks up the tarnish and the junk and everything. Hell, I got a penny sitting here that I forgot to... I got one sitting here that I forgot to finish up. All the electrolysis does is just breaks everything up, gets all that tarnish broke up for you. And then the baking soda is just a mild abrasive to kind of do a finishing touch and polish it, kind of like a jeweler's rouge would be if you were polishing some coins. That's all the hell that is. No big deal. No, don't take a rocket scientist to figure that out. I mean, I was an electrician before I became disabled. My new son-in-law, he was telling me, I got an Xbox 360 that I got from my nephew. He did something fucked up to it, and now it don't work. He was like, well, hell, you're an electrician. You ought to be able to fix it. And I was like, dude, I'm an electrician. My job stops at that socket right there. When I get power to that socket, and you can plug it in and you got power, the rest of it is left up to you electronics geeks. I don't do that part. Now, I can get into a VCR or DVD player and clean the lenses, and if there's a burnt diode or something, I can jump it out, with a little bit of wire and a soldering gun and jump around it. Which sometimes that's a good idea and sometimes it ain't. Like my landlord, her son putting a 30 amp breaker in for that refrigerator because it kept tripping the 20 amp breaker. And I told her flat out, I said, breakers are there to tell you that you got a problem. And quite often, jumping around it with a bigger breaker so it doesn't trip, that can cause a fire. Damn, I wasn't trying to jinx anything, but it caused a fire. They're lucky they got out. Nobody was hurt. No real property loss. But they had to put them in a different trailer, and the landlord was excellent. She and her son moved them back over here. They didn't didn't make them do it. They used their vehicles and their gas, and they moved them over here. They used their manpower and all too, and got them here. And these trailers actually rent for about $50 a month more, but since she'd already signed a lease, she gets it for what she had signed for. And these trailers, they don't really allow dogs, but she's got a little baby Chihuahua Jack Russell mix, and she'd already been told she could have it over there, so now she gets to have it over here. Well, the landlord was kind of over a barrel. That was some really messed up and illegal crap in the walls there, but she had no way of knowing it until it caused a problem. They didn't do it. I know that for a fact. They're too smart to have done that. Oh, goody. There goes a train or something. They're working on the tracks today. Anyway, I did get out and dig a couple of pennies, and I wanted to address those couple of things. Metal detecting in Connecticut, I believe, is a young man that wanted to know why I always film out my window. He had another question, too, which I don't remember what it was. It was that important. And Treasure Jack wanted to know about me changing leads. Nope, sorry, Jack. Same ones I put on there in the original video. Go back and look at it. You'll see they're the big copper clips with the red and black insulators on them, which you really don't need them except just to identify which one's which in case you take them loose. That way you don't have to get your tester out and figure it out again. But that's pretty much it. I got these couple of coins, now 3 coins, since I found that one that I forgot to finish up to do, and that'll be it. Tomorrow's the 1st. I can get out and pay a few things, and then Friday's the 3rd, and I get to pay as much as I can there, and we'll be broke again. Goody. I ain't used to this yet. It's been, oh God, what, 2004 when I started having problems. I wouldn't be surprised if in a couple of years I don't lose a foot or a leg. I have these ulcers just pop up out of nowhere for no reason. But if I do, I'll just get me a bionic leg and go place kick for the Falcons. Simple as that. But I still ain't used to it. I was making $1,400 a week. Now I don't make that in a month. And if I could go back to work, I'd do it today. I kind of miss it. A lot of people would be glad to get out of work and get a check every month. No, I miss it. Anyway, just wanted to show y'all I'm still kicking. Got out there and found me a couple of coins. I ain't been skunked yet. There ain't been a day I've gone out and not found nothing. But also I got, oh God, I feel stupid. Which one? Who was that? They told me I told him about the F2 and he went out and got one. And I am drawing, oh, Jim Brown went out and got him an F2, and he said he got it, and he went out and 5 feet from his car he'd already found 2 quarters. He said it was better than he had dared to expect it to be, so I'm proud for that. As soon as I get the money, I'm going to get me an F2 and a pen pointer, and we're going to start doing some serious shit. Then when I get me a decent camera, I'll start doing some live digs. That's another thing that detecting in Connecticut wanted to know why I don't do live digs. I do everything on my cell phone, dude. Yeah, this is a Samsung S Showcase I do all my filming on. I've tried doing live digs. If I pause it for more than 30 seconds, it kicks me out of the program and I got to start all over again. That's why I don't do live digs. Alright. Until later, guys. Talk at you. Penny Digger. And we out. Peace.